Here's something I'm thinking about this morning that I find really, really fucking interesting. Oh my gosh. And I've been thinking about this for a while. It's really, this applies to every group that is marginalized, but also can be an oppressor or oppressive to people that fall under you in the social ladder. You understand the frustration of when you are levying criticism on a group that is oppressing you, and members of that group say, well, not all blank, not all of us are like that. That's not fair. That's a generalization. That's not fair. You understand that concept, but all of a sudden, when you are put in the role of oppressor or of being oppressive, all of a sudden, you start saying the same shit. All of a sudden, you don't seem to understand that concept, even though as a group, you've proven that you do. Take white women, for example. You understand the frustration of when we are talking about the way that men treat us like fucking shit, and the way men are such a danger to us, and how we have to worry about our safety, walking down the street past men, just being in a room with men, et cetera, et cetera. You understand the frustration when men respond to that with, well, not all men. I'm not like that. That's not fair. Not all men. That's not like, that's generalization. You understand the concept of like, no, shut the fuck up, because the way society is set up, the way the social ladder is set up, we have to assume all men until you prove otherwise. We have to assume all men until you prove otherwise, because our life is on the line, our safety is on the line, our mental health is on the line. And historically, it's like that. It has been proven to be a threat. It's proven to be a threat every fucking day in our workplaces and everywhere. You know what I mean? You understand that concept until black people or non-white people start levying criticisms on white people as a group. And all of a sudden, from a bunch of you, it's like, well, not all white people. I'm not like that. That's not fair. Generalization. You start saying the exact same things that we all criticize men for saying when we're trying to give them feedback on why they're being douchey. All of a sudden, you're saying the same thing. But it's proven that you understand why that response is problematic. Same thing with black men. You guys understand when we as black people are levying criticism against white people, and they respond with, not all white people, I'm not like that. That's generalizing. It's not fair. Like, that's racist. Like, it's reverse racism. You understand why that's a load of bullshit. You understand that because we are black people, literally the entire world, but first and foremost, white people have been a danger to our life and our livelihood. And so when interacting with white people, we have to assume the absolute worst. Because of the way the social ladder is set up, we have to assume the very worst until they prove otherwise. Because that's the way that the world has gone for us. That is our survival mechanism, and that's fair. But then when we start, especially like when black women start levying criticism against you and the way that you treat us, the way that you're on your bullshit, the way that you as a group continue to perpetuate problematic ways of thinking, problematic behavior, gross, dangerous behavior within our community, all of a sudden a whole bunch of you are like, well, not all black men, that's not fair. Not all black men, I'm not like that. That's generalizing. You're so hateful, blah, 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 blah. But you as a group have proven, we all know that we all have the same frustration when we're trying to tell white people how they're being shitty to us, and they're like, well, not all. It's very invalidating. It's proven that you guys understand that concept. But then when it comes time for you to be accountable, and not even accountable individually, just to acknowledge that you are part of a group that plays the role of oppressor to somebody else, all of a sudden it seems to be a concept that is foreign to you. It seems to be a concept that's foreign to you. And I'm calling my own self out too, by the way, because I'm a black woman, but I'm a mixed race, light-skinned black woman. And, you know, when I started popping off on YouTube, I started seeing a lot of dark-skinned black women's YouTube channels coming up. And the caption or something would say things to the effect of like, why mixed race or biracial women or light-skinned women are not our allies, they're not our friends, you know, and all this. And I had a visceral reaction. I'm like, well, not all of us. I was like, not all of us. That's not fair. Not all of us. That's not fair. But again, I had to check myself because I'm like, well, I understand. Like, I completely understand when, you know, I'm levying criticism against white people, my frustration when they're like, not all white people. I completely understand the frustration with black men when I'm like levying criticism against them and they're like, not all black men. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I have to assume. And I realized, like, it's exactly the same thing. Maybe I don't do these things. Maybe I do accidentally, and maybe that's something that I need to be made aware of. But at the very least, it's just acknowledging that I am part of a group, just dropping my fucking pride and acknowledging that I am part of a group that plays the role of oppressor or oppressor's assistant sometimes to other classes of people. So in my conscience, I cannot criticize white people for saying not all white people, and I can't criticize black men for saying not all black men, and not check myself when I feel myself about to say either out loud or in my head, not all mixed people, not all light-skinned people, not all light-skinned women or whatever. Because the fact fucking remains that because of colorism, because of white supremacy, light-skinned mixed race women as a group very fucking often play oppressor to dark-skinned black women, very often weaponize their light skin, weaponize their proximity to whiteness, weaponize the fact that the world is more likely to perceive them as fragile and dainty and in need of saving, desirable. Mixed race and or light-skinned black women as a group, many do weaponize that. They fucking do. They weaponize that and they become bullies and oppressors of dark-skinned black women. That is an uncomfortable fact, but it is a fucking fact. And to say not all mixed race, light-skinned black women do that is very invalidating to the people who constantly and consistently go through that bullshit from members of that group that I happen to be a part of. Maybe I'm not doing it, but I am not every fucking mixed race and or light-skinned woman. I am not every woman. It is not all in me. It invalidates the fact. It invalidates the fact that maybe even though I'm not individually doing it, there are a lot of dark-skinned black women out there that are constantly being compared to light-skinned black women, that are even like I say, even just being bullied and put down by light-skinned black women or mixed race women as a group because their proximity to whiteness gives them privilege. And so sometimes the group to which I belong plays the role of oppressor. I understand that concept. When it comes to other people. It's all, like I said, it's all fun and games until you have to be held accountable for the group that you happen to belong to. So you have to really ask yourself, like, are you really committed to change? Are you really committed to change and things getting better? Or are you just parading around for social justice because it makes you feel like a good person? Because it makes you feel good? Because if you care about change as an entirety, you not only care about the problematic behaviors of other people, but you should probably care about the problematic behaviors of yourself and try to be correcting that. And maybe you should be taking that criticism, even if you don't think it applies to you as an individual, but at least keep it in the back of your mind so that next time, so that the possible next time as you're about to do something fucking stupid and hurtful, you realize your place in society, you realize your fucking privilege, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna choose not to do that. I'm gonna choose to like get better at that. I just find that really, really, I just find that really fucking interesting. Food for thought.